Hello, scholars, and welcome back to Writing with Miss Kitchens. We are now on day 49 of writing. Look at us. All right, little happy scholars. So, yesterday you were supposed to be working super hard at looking at letters and their sounds. Just to kind of refresh your memory on what that looks like, here is an alphabet chart on Miss Kitchen's new page, okay, on her new slide. I was able to get the alphabet chart I had in my classroom onto Google Classroom. Okay, so here we already know that the letter A makes the sound or the A sound, right? For apple. So that's what you were supposed to be doing yesterday when you are spelling out those tricky words. You were supposed to be sounding out those letters and making sure that you were getting it down on your paper. Okay? Before we go into our mini lesson, you know Miss Hitchens love to go over the student learning outcomes. I, and which is you, will rehearse stories aloud over and over before drawing and writing the words. Okay, to rehearse something, it just means to simply say it over and over to yourself to make sure that it is readable, one, and two, that it makes sense to you because your readers are going to actually be needing to know exactly what it is that you are trying to say to them. So if it doesn't make sense to you, in a way, it probably won't make sense to them too. So make sure that you read your writing out loud to yourself. Okay, kindergarteners use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to narrate a single event or several loosely linked events. Tell about the events in order in which they occur and provide a reaction to what happened. Okay, this is the Common Core State Standard that you are going to be continuously focusing on throughout this unit. Here are your writing materials that you will need for today. You're going to need your writing paper or your writing papers, a pencil or some pencils just in case your pencil breaks, your anchor chart or your anchor charts. I will be uploading the anchor charts with this assignment on Google Classroom. Your pre-made book, that is just the papers that you've been writing the past couple of days throughout this unit, or books. Some of you are probably writing books at this point, and I think that is amazing. Great job. All right, so today we are going to be focusing on how to retell a story and all of the key details that are very important for your readers to have so that they can put those stories on their beautiful minds. All right, so here is a YouTube link that I'm going to click on so that we can actually see how it works to retell a story. Let's see if I can do it. There it goes. So we're just waiting for you to. But yes, like I was saying, when we are trying to tell our stories, remember those small moments, we need to make sure that we have key details so that our readers can be like really engaged. We always want to engage our readers because they are the whole purpose of us writing our story. I don't know why YouTube is taking super long. Okay, here it
How to retell a story. Retell means to tell the most up to end. We often retell stories to show that we understood it. Sometimes we retell a story just for fun because we want to tell our friends about it. When you retell a story, you can't retell everything. You only retell the most important parts. So, what What is important? Usually the most important parts are the characters and the big events that happen in the story. There, I'm going to retell it to you. Goldilocks and the Three Bears is a story about a girl named Goldilocks who goes for a walk in the forest. In the beginning, the bears left their house to walk while they're poor at the pool. Next, Goldilocks came to their house and she ate their porridge, sat in their chairs, and then fell asleep in one of their beds. In the end, the bears came home and scared Goldilocks. She jumped out of bed and ran away. My retelling included the characters, the setting, and the most important events from the beginning, middle, and end. Now you can practice retelling a story on your own. Thanks for watching. Check out other reading videos on the Teaching Without Frills YouTube channel.
All right. So you've noticed how when the young lady was talking about Goldilocks, she definitely was able to tell her story using the characters, the setting, making sure that it was in a beginning, middle, and ending format. You also can do that, and that's what you also should be doing in your writing. Get my laser back. All right, so here are just some small moment ideas that you can definitely talk about for your new writing piece if you are going to create a new writing piece. You can talk about some vacations that you have went on, or that you can possibly take, given information about those vacations. You can talk about going somewhere, whether that's going to the grocery store, to the eye doctor, to the toy store. You can talk about a time when you were surprised or when you surprised someone. You can talk about time with your family. You can give information on things that pets do. You can tell a story that you've already read, like the young girl that we've seen in the YouTube channel. She on the YouTube video, she just was talking about Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears. So I'm sure that's a story she read before, and she just retold the story, right? That's how you retell something. You have to retell what took place because it happened already. You can talk about a time when you were angry. You can talk about holidays, times with your friends, getting a present. Whatever topic you want to talk about, it's your small moment. You have the courage and the confidence to talk about it. All right, so here are some story elements. The story elements are just areas where you want to make sure you have these things inside of your writing, right? You want to make sure, one, you have a character. Okay, you need to have a character in your story so that people know exactly who you're talking about, whether it is an animal or animals, people, or things. You need to have characters. You also need to have a setting, right? When and where did that take place? It might have taken place at nighttime, during the day, maybe it happened in the pond. And the where will be, maybe it happened in the pond, the forest, or at your house, okay? You can also have a plot, okay? What happened? What happened in the story? Was there a problem and a solution situation? And make sure that you have your transition happening. You are going from the beginning to the middle and then the ending of your story. That is always important. Now, what writers do, of course, already know this from when we were doing our persuasive writing unit. We always think. We think as writers, right? We sit down, we're like, what do I want to write about? What happened in my life that makes me want to write about that right now? So we think about a lot of things that have taken place before our very own beautiful eyes. We draw out exactly what took place, right? See how these beautiful pictures here, we're like, I've seen that and I know I can draw it because Mrs. Squire taught us how to draw. So we should be drawing our pictures with our words, okay? Also, we label our pictures so that our readers know exactly what is going on ×2. We write using our words, spelling out those tricky words, sounding out those tricky words, and making sure that we have capital letters at the beginning of our sentences and lowercase letters in the middle of our sentences with punctuation marks. And then we add details. Look how beautiful this picture is. Look how this scholar definitely took all of these ideas and made it into this beautiful picture and words, right? They said, I walked to school. And this is obviously the school, their flag, them, and it looks like their house that they also added. So add much details, right? The more details, the better your readers can actually be engaged and understand what it is that you're talking about in your writing. Here are some questions you should ask yourself while you're writing. And Ms. Kitchens actually asks herself these questions too when she's writing. What do you notice that the storytellers are doing? Well, I've noticed when we were watching that YouTube video that the storyteller was actually talking about something that they already experienced. And they made sure that they added the characters and the setting in their stories. What makes a good storyteller? Well, a good storyteller definitely makes sure that they have the beginning, middle, and ending of what took place in the story, and they add important details, right? Key details for their readers to understand what it is that they are saying in their writing. Okay, so here is an example of a writing that I got off of PB Works, okay? It says, Sarah and I went to school. Well, Sarah and I are the characters of this story, and going to the school is actually a place, right? That's where they were going. It was sunny. So they described the time of the day. We saw a dog, another character. We were scared, expressing an emotion. That's also important, right? Showing some emotion in your narratives. We ran. We got to the school. Okay? This is just an example of how you can write your narrative piece. How can I be successful in today's writing? Well, today you will keep writing stories, but keep in mind your storyteller voice. That's that voice where it's coming from within, and from all of the key things that you need to have in your writing, all comes from here, all comes from within. Okay? Make sure you are writing with expression and really letting the reader become really engaged in your story. That's why it's so important that when you're writing, you're really focusing on your writing. You're not distracted. You really are going into that story. Again, you're reliving what took place when you actually experienced it for the first time in order to tell that story and tell it in a great storyteller's voice. Okay. Here is your student criteria for success. I can observe ways to read like a storyteller. So you already observed ways, right? By watching the YouTube video that we've just seen. You want to make sure you're explaining your characters. You want to make sure you're explaining your setting. You want to also have a plot, right? Whether there's a problem or a solution, and have those things categorized in sequence, beginning, middle, and ending. I can practice reading like a storyteller. And now we know you can do that by reading aloud to yourself your story over and over again, making sure that it is readable. Those are your have-tos and how you can be successful. And as you already know, after you are doing your have-to, you definitely you can go right into your free write. This is your time to write about whatever you want to write about. All right, little happy writers. That is all for today's writing. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. I will see you tomorrow for day 49 of writing. Happy writing, little writers. Bye.